Memphis Depay, Angel Di Maria, Alexis Sanchez, and many others graced the Old Trafford pitch donning the legendary number 7 shirt, yet struggled to meet the towering expectations it carried. But what makes this shirt so special? Many will point to Cristiano Ronaldo's era-defining tenure, while others reminisce about the days of David Beckham and even Eric Cantona. However, the true origin of the number 7 legacy traces back to a football maestro who stands shoulder to shoulder with icons like Pelé and Diego Maradona. Enter George Best, the original trailblazer, whose nickname encapsulates his prowess. He was indeed the best. But to truly grasp the essence of George's uniqueness and the magic he wove wearing that iconic shirt, we must venture back to the very beginning of his remarkable journey. On May 22, 1946, George Best's story begins in the modest surroundings of East Belfast, Northern Ireland, where he was born into a working-class family. His father, Dickie, worked in the shipyards, while his mother, Anne, was a homemaker. Growing up in the shadows of the Harland and Wolff shipyards, young George found his sanctuary and passion in the game of football. His childhood home, a small house on Burren Way, became the first stage for his burgeoning talent. Football was a constant in the Best household, a shared love that bonded the family. George, along with his father and brother, would often play in the cramped streets and makeshift fields of Criggack Estate, using their ingenuity to create goals out of anything available. It was in these early games that George's natural talent began to shine. His exceptional ball control and innate ability to weave through defenders with ease caught the eye of everyone who watched him play. George's first formal step into football came when he joined Craigack Boys Club. Here, his skills were honed further, and he began to stand out as a prodigious talent. His performance at Craigack didn't go unnoticed, leading to his discovery by Bob Bishop, a scout for Manchester United. It was Bishop who famously sent a telegram to United's manager, Matt Busby, proclaiming, quote, "I think I've found you a genius." To be honest, a genius is an understatement, considering the kind of player Best turned out to be. The chapter of George Best's life with Manchester United began with a kind of a fairy tale-like twist that seemed almost predestined. In 1961, at the tender age of 15, he left Belfast for Manchester, carrying not just his belongings but also the dreams of a football prodigy. The adjustment to life in England was not without its challenges, as homesickness initially led him to return to Belfast briefly, but the pull of his destiny was too strong. He soon returned to Manchester, determined to carve out his future in the game he loved. Under the stewardship of the legendary Sir Matt Busby, Best quickly adapted to life at United. His debut came at the age of 17 against West Bromwich Albion in 1963, a match that marked the birth of a new star in English football. Best's performance was a glimpse into the future. His dazzling footwork and fearless style of play left spectators in awe. It was clear that Manchester United had uncovered a gem, and what a gem it was. By the 1964-65 season, he had established himself as a first-team regular, playing a pivotal role in United's league title win. His ability to change games with his individual brilliance was uncanny. In the words of Sir Matt Busby, quote, "George was the best player in the world at the time. His ability was complete. He could dribble, head, and shoot with both feet, and he had a degree of bravery uncommon among the more skillful players." Perhaps the most defining moment of Best's early career came in the 1966 European Cup quarterfinal against Benfica. Playing away in Lisbon, Best mesmerized the opposition, scoring 2 goals in a stunning 5-1 victory. His performance earned him the nickname El Beetle, a testament to his star quality and charisma. This match not only cemented his status as one of the best players in Europe, but also signaled Manchester United's emergence as a force in European football. Hold on, if you think that this was it, then we have some news for you. That's not even 10% of what he did next. By the end of the 1960s, George Best had not only risen to fame, he had transformed into one of the most recognizable faces in the world of sport. Beyond his on-field exploits, Best became known for his magnetic personality and style. He wasn't just a footballer, he was a cultural icon, embodying the spirit of the 1960s. His charm and good looks made him a favorite among fans, especially women, and his lifestyle off the pitch began to attract as much attention as his performances on it. The late 1960s and early 1970s marked the zenith of George Best's illustrious career, a period where his footballing prowess reached its peak. During these golden years, Best's performances for Manchester United in both domestic and European competitions were nothing short of sensational, solidifying his status as one of the game's all-time greats. His flair and creativity were pivotal in Manchester United's attacking play, making him a constant threat to opposition defenses. In the 1967-68 season, Best was at the height of his powers. His performances were instrumental in United's run in the First Division, where he contributed significantly to the team's scoring tally with 28 goals in 41 league appearances. Remember, we're talking about a winger here, not a number 9. But wait, it was in Europe where Best truly showcased his extraordinary talent. The 1967-68 European Cup campaign was a defining moment in Best's career. Manchester United's journey to the final was marked by Best's breathtaking displays, culminating in a match against Benfica at Wembley. In a thrilling encounter, Best's opening goal in extra time set United on the path to a 4-1 victory, securing their first European Cup triumph. It was more than an achievement. It was a moment of redemption and glory, coming 10 years after the tragic Munich air disaster that decimated the core of the team. In the same season, George Best's individual brilliance was recognized globally as he was awarded the Ballon d'Or, the most prestigious individual award in football. But wait, get yourself ready, because we have a mind-blowing fact for you. Best's ability to produce magic on the field was evident in numerous matches. For example, the game against Northampton Town in the 5th round of the FA Cup in 1970, where he scored an astounding 6 goals in an 8-2 victory. Now hold on a second. While George Best's footballing career was marked by extraordinary talent, his personal life and off-field activities painted a picture of a man grappling with the pressures of fame and the temptations that came with it. Best's charisma and good looks made him a media darling, and he quickly became as famous for his lifestyle off the pitch as his performances on it. In the swinging 60s, Best became the embodiment of celebrity footballer. His love for partying was well known, and he became a regular face in the nightclubs of Manchester and London. Best's charm and flamboyance made him a favorite among the social elite, and he was often seen in the company of models, actors, and musicians. He famously quipped, quote, "I spent a lot of money on booze, birds, and fast cars. The rest I just squandered." However, this lifestyle took a toll on Best. The late nights and heavy drinking began to impact his training and performances. Despite his immense talent, Best's discipline and commitment were often questioned. His Manchester United manager, Sir Matt Busby, once lamented, quote, "If only he could have lived his life differently." Best's relationships, particularly with women, were also a constant source of media attention. His high-profile romances, including with Miss Great Britain 1968 Mary Stavin and his marriage to Angela MacDonald-James, were extensively covered in the press. These relationships, while part of his allure, also added to the pressures of living in the public eye. He once said, quote, "I used to go missing a lot. Miss Canada, Miss United Kingdom, Miss World. Yeah, the man was also hilarious." As his career progressed, the cumulative effects of his lifestyle began to manifest more prominently. Best's attendance at training became erratic, and his physical condition started to decline. The once invincible footballer started to show signs of vulnerability, both on and off the pitch. The trajectory of George Best's career took a somber turn in the early 1970s, marked by a series of personal and professional challenges that would ultimately lead to his decline as a footballing force. Central to these challenges were his growing issues with alcohol and conflicts with management. Best's relationship with alcohol, which had been a feature of his off-field life, became increasingly problematic. His drinking began to affect not just his physical condition, but also his attitude and commitment to the game. The discipline and focus that had propelled him to the top were now in jeopardy. The regularity of his drinking bouts and the impact on his training and performance led to tensions with the management at Manchester United. These tensions culminated in a series of conflicts, most notably with Tommy Docherty, who became the manager of Manchester United in the mid-1970s. Docherty's strict approach clashed with Best's free-spirited nature, leading to disciplinary issues and disagreements. This strained relationship reflected a broader shift within the club and the sport, moving towards a more disciplined and professional era, one that Best struggled to adapt to. The culmination of these issues led to Best's decline in performance on the field. The dazzling displays of skill and brilliance became less frequent, overshadowed by the struggles he faced off the pitch. In 1974, at the age of 27, George Best left Manchester United, marking the end of an era. The departure was a poignant moment, signaling not just the end of his time at the club, but also the fading of one of football's brightest stars. After his departure from Manchester United, George Best's footballing journey entered a nomadic phase, characterized by brief stints with various clubs around the world. His post-United career saw him playing for a diverse range of teams, from Stockport County in England to the Los Angeles Aztecs in the United States, and even a brief period in Australia with Brisbane Lions. These years were marked by flashes of the old brilliance, but they were sporadic and increasingly overshadowed by his ongoing struggles off the pitch. In 1983, after a series of short-lived comebacks and less impactful roles at various smaller clubs, Best finally hung up his boots, retiring from professional football. His retirement marked the end of a career that had been as tumultuous as it was brilliant. The once dazzling young star from Belfast had journeyed through the heights of footballing success and the depths of personal struggle, leaving behind a legacy that was as complex as it was remarkable. In retirement, Best occasionally struggled with the same issues that had plagued his later playing years. Despite these challenges, he remained a beloved figure, a reminder of a time when football was as much about flair and joy as it was about winning. George Best's story is one of a rare talent, a life lived with passion, and a reminder of the fleeting nature of sporting greatness. And there it is, folks, the legend behind Manchester United's iconic number 7 shirt. He was not just a footballer, he was an icon of his era, embodying the spirit and flamboyance of the 1960s and 70s. His legacy transcends his troubles, leaving behind the memories of a player who played with joy, passion, and an irrepressible spirit. A testament to his enduring impact, his statue stands tall at Old Trafford, alongside Dennis Law and Sir Bobby Charlton, immortalizing his contribution to the club. Now we turn the spotlight over to you. Do you think Best ranks alongside legends like Pelé and Maradona, or do his off-field escapades affect his standing in football history? Drop your views in the comments, and if you enjoyed the deep dive into football history, don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons for more content.